Hey guys, welcome to the Vodkast. Out of here. That guy's a real putz, huh? Ooh, it's kind of cold in here, kind of chilly. I got an idea. That's a little, ooh, now I'm feeling a little bit warmer. Hang on a second. That's much better. What was I saying? Oh yeah, welcome to the Vodkast.
You know I plan to walk on a broken shoe. When I walk, think I'm gonna, 'cause I think I want it, don't need it.
Well, that was a lot of fun now, wasn't it? I know I've used a few of those tricks in the past, but they're just kind of fun to mess around with from time to time. I've run into a few conundrums, a few problems. The cord that I'm using, let me see if I can show you this. Probably not. Okay. So, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm using a monitor. After I switched the desks around, well, I haven't switched the desks around, but after I got this desk in here, I set up the monitor so I could monitor myself. And actually, it's not very good because, but it's just really neat to be able to look over, there I am, and see what I'm filming at 24 inches. So that rather than the little screen where I'm always squinting, am I going, am I in focus? Am I not in focus? The point is, I've run into a few conundrums. One is I like filming right here. I've got my window here. I've got it open so I can hear all the beautiful birds singing. I'm not going to go on and on about this. I know I've talked about it in other videos before, but I picked up something the other day. Now I know I said I was going to do that. The problem with having that screensaver on is it tries to focus on, like when Carol's face comes on the screen, it's big enough. Let me see if it does it this time with Griffin. No. It's stuck with me. The problem is fitting a table in here to do a review on. Like, I would love to do the review right now and try them out. I'm so into the thin Oreo cookies ever since I had the pina colada that I'm dying to try some other flavors. And initially I was going to do all the flavors in one night. That's a little expensive all at once. Not really expensive. I mean, it'd probably be like 20 bucks to get all the flavors that they have. However, I'd rather just be able to provide more videos with more laughs and love. I was also thinking about doing like a head-to-head video, but then how do you decide? Like, do you go golden versus traditional thin? Do you select certain flavors? So I figured it just made sense. I'll just buy like one a week, and that'll give us a review for the next like 6 weeks or so to do on Oreos. I didn't really have a lot I wanted to sit down and talk about today. I have something in my pocket though. No tricks. That's my prop dollar. I use that dollar to, when I'm taking pictures sometimes, just to throw it in a scene. It's just kind of funny. Not really funny, it's just interesting. It's artistic. So today I went out and I did something. I voted. That's right. I took the time and went out and voted for my city council members. Now, I haven't talked a lot about politics on the podcast because I don't want to get too much into politics, but I'm not going to avoid politics just because I don't want to anger somebody or set somebody off. I really don't want an argument. If you want to discuss politics in the comments below, we can gladly do that. But I don't have the time to fight or argue about your side or my side. We're not going to change each other's minds, I don't think. There have been times where little things here and there may have tweaked my decisions on how I would choose to do things. However, for the most part, I'm pretty adamant. I'm 43 years old and I've formed my own opinion through the years. It evolved very much so in my 20s and not so much since then. Maybe a little bit more subtle. Maybe I'm a little less angry. Maybe I'm a little bit less angry than I should be. The thing about voting in local, small, like city council elections and your mayors and stuff, is these are the people that are coming up. They want to have a career in politics, and they're not jaded by it yet. They haven't gotten to the point where politicians and corporate sponsors and nude media and news media haven't gotten to them and dug their claws into them. They're idealists. They have beliefs. And a lot of times, these younger representatives that are coming into their own now have a lot of great ideas, and I think backing people like that is far more important than voting in any presidential or any major election like that, because I honestly, here's one of my theories. My theory is that we aren't a democracy, we're a republic, and we have an electoral college. We don't have, our votes technically really don't count. Most of the time the electoral college will go with what its constituents want. But it doesn't happen all the time. And when that doesn't happen, we end up with people like Trump. And mind you, I have friends that are Trump supporters, or at least think it's funny to vote for Trump. However, I'm not going to get too deeply into my opinion on him, but I think if you know my politics, you know how I feel about him. However, the thing that drives me crazy, and this is a little thing I wanted to touch on too, is yes, we should vote for local, idealistic, progressive Democrats. But at the same time, the thing that drives me crazy, when Obama was president and you got all these Republicans saying, he's not my president, I didn't vote for him, guess what? He was your president, whether you voted for him or not. You live in the country, you're a citizen of the United States, so he is your president, whether you like it or not. And guess what? That goes for you too, Democrats. It drives me crazy nowadays when I see bumper stickers that say, not my president. I agree. I would prefer him to not be our president. I would much rather have seen Bernie Sanders. Hillary, I could care less about. I didn't want her in office. I feel like not only was she just a politician, I know a lot of people voted for Trump because he wasn't a politician. However, I didn't want to vote for Hillary, even though I did, because she's dirty. She's been raked over the coals through these years. At one point in her early life and Bill's early life, they were idealists, they were progressive, and I think that they, in their heart, really did want to do things to change things for the better for the people of the United States. But I think the further you go along in the process, when you start getting into the Senate, you know, the Congress and the House or whatever, you start getting the influence of people with money. And it all comes down to that too. Even our local candidates. A lot of candidates run unopposed. Here in Lynchburg, there's been several elections that I've attended when I look at the ballot where there are no Democrats or even independents on the ballot. You basically can vote for a Republican or a Republican. And that's where the money comes into play. And I think that's, as you advance, you need more and more money, which is sad that politics are run by money and corporate greed at this point. I mean, our country, we are a capitalistic society that builds prisons to make money off of, makes things that can make other people's lives illegal, and it's all about money. It all comes down to money. And how do you stop that? You know, money is supposedly the root of all evil, but it also makes the world go round. At this point, outside of financial crumbling our institutions as they are now, we're not going to see major change, I don't think. I don't think we will ever see major change. Even these people that I'm talking about on a local level that you want to vote for and get into office, and hopefully they have the strength to push back. Why are there only Republicans on the ballot? Because it's tough to get on the ballot. You know why? Because I've talked to a lot of people who are involved in getting people into positions of power. And I said, can I just put my name on there? Just put my name on there. I don't know the job, but I can learn it. You know what I mean? I could probably do just as good a job as somebody who's had years, well, maybe not somebody who's had years of training, but I can learn. I'm a quick learner. Just put my name on the ballot. Well, it doesn't come down to that. The thing is, to get those signs in people's yards, to get your name on the ballot, to get your word out there, it all costs money, and it's a lot of money. And that's the sad thing, is you need someone who has money to be willing to say, I think this guy can help progress the things that I believe in. First, you got to find somebody who believes in the things that you believe in. Second of all, they have to have money. Third, you don't think you're going to owe them something if you do get elected and they've donated $100,000 to your campaign? This is why money and politics don't mix very well. The minute money gets involved, you start getting people in office that are hand-picked. So there are all these hurdles that a person needs to get over before they can even get their name on the ballot. And by the time they get their name on the ballot, they're already in somebody's pocket. So how do we fix that? I think that is the only solution outside of literal violence that is ever going to change the way we live here in the United States. I mean, you can look at the rest of the world, and there are a lot of countries, mostly civilized countries, that are far more advanced than us in many ways. Shorter work hours, yearly paternity leaves. That's not maternity leave, that's both the mother and the father. That's paid. Several months of vacation paid. We don't have that here. We criminalize a plant that grows in the wild. I'm not going to get specifically on my topics, but I'm just saying that around the world there are so many other better ways of doing things. And I love when people say, well, America, if you don't love it, leave it. Guess what? It's not that easy to leave it, because I would. I don't see much hope outside of violence. The only thing is separating money from politics, and you're never going to see that unless you bring down the major corporations that are funding them, or media organizations that are giving you the news, the fake news, the real news, whatever the news is. It's easy enough to find real news. I'm just trying to say, you can find it. It's out there, and it's not as hard as it was 20 years ago before we had the internet. There's ways of proving what's real and what's fake, and it's right at your fingertips. The problem is we don't have a collective body of people willing to go forth and put forth the effort to make the changes we want to see. Everything comes back to money. You always hit that hurdle. And so that's why I said, if I had the option and the financial ability to leave the country, I probably would. There are so many countries with free health care. I haven't had health insurance since I was full-time. So we're looking at about 7 or 8 years at this point. God forbid anything happened to me. Like, we would lose everything. Isn't that sad and pathetic that we live in a country that health care is not a right? It is a right. You should take care of your people. Social programs are very important. There is so little fraud in programs like WIC or food stamps, all these other little things. I can't even get help from my own city because we make too much money. I can't get health insurance in Virginia because I make too much money, and I can't get on Obamacare because I make too little money. It's this weird little gap, and there are very few states that have this. What I'm trying to say is, I love this country. I love the beauty of this country. I love what it was originally founded on. However, we've never really gotten anything right since we found the country. We killed the natives, took over, and just basically have ruined everything. There are amazing opportunities here. Don't get me wrong. There are opportunities here that you could never have in the Middle East, or right now you could never have in the Middle East. But the people who don't have jobs that are worthy of people's time, effort, and money get swept aside. People who like to do things like this, who love to paint a painting, the arts and music and all these things that mean the world to me and a lot of people. Do you enjoy entertainment? Do you like going to museums? Do you like to look at art or listen to music? Now, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of the people that are doing that are very successful and make a stupid amount of money, while our teachers are making little to none. However, that's the imbalance here. Baseball players, what's the base salary or a football player? What, $350,000? Is that the minimum when you come in? Why aren't our teachers making at least $100,000 a year? They are teaching our kids to be the next generation of politicians and football players and artists. The arts here in America mean nothing. There are artists who love to create art, but they can't live off what they do best. So people like me who were taught in the Reagan era that you can be whatever you want to be if you work hard enough, that's bullshit. It's really pretty much comes down to luck. Not luck. I don't believe in luck. But being in the right place at the right time and knowing the right people. It's not easy for someone like me to do what I do best and make a living off of it. If I did, I would be the happiest person in the world. I probably wouldn't complain nearly as much. And I think in other countries you have those opportunities. In England, I believe, you can look this up, call me on it, if it's not real, it's not real, but I believe the country itself, if you form a band, they'll provide you money with equipment and recording time, and they will give you a check so that you can further your art, so you can be a useful and progressive member of society there. And that makes all the sense in the world. That way the people who weren't meant or want to do construction or build houses or be a doctor, like, I couldn't cut into somebody. Even if I had spent my time and I'd gotten grants to be able to go to school, I could never be a doctor. I don't want to be a policeman. I am not aggressive. My point is, it's hard to be happy when you live in a country that's so corrupt. Everything's corrupt. Everything's fucked up. You should get out and vote. Vote for your local representatives. Vote for the people who you think should be in office and who you really think might be able to avoid those pitfalls that the people like the Clintons have in the past. I really hope in my lifetime I see some major change in the world and in our country, and I don't feel the way I do. I don't want to go to the grave hating where I live. I want to love living here. So what do? That's the conundrum. So I'll be back in a day or two. I've got people downstairs, so I'm just rushing this through today because they're out. And we'll do the Oreo coconut thin reviews. I think they're going to be delicious. And we'll talk about a few more things then. I just, I don't know. I just felt like after going to the polls today, I really felt like I wanted to sit down and just talk about it a little bit and give you my point of view. And I know I've talked about it before, but if you guys are loving watching these as much as I'm loving making them, please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, hit that little bell icon next to the little subscribe thing. That'll let you know, alert you, inform you of when I put a new video out. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the world around you and love the life you live. I'm Jason Oliver. I will see you guys a little bit further on down the road in the next video. Peace.